Oh yeah. Hi, it's diaperperv.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Livewire. Going to answer some questions for you. Hope to clear things up that people have written into diaperperv to answer their questions.
Yeah, about ABDL conventions mainly.
And the first question is, it's what's like the percentage of each type at the event? Like girl to guy ratio, daddy, mommy ratio. How many are actually diapered?
Okay. So I'm gonna say like at the big conventions, the amount of girls is probably a lot more than you think. So I would probably say like 35%.
That's a good number.
That is a good number because a percentage of the males that are there are gay. So if you kind of take out the gay males, then the percentages between male and female, not counting gay males, is like very close.
Okay, that's good numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of look at this as at a munch standpoint and or viewpoint. Sorry, and we had some girls who attended our munch just this last Sunday, and it was really cool. And the numbers were predominantly they change from week to week. You never
Yeah.
know who's going to come out, and I think that's the beauty of it is it's not set in stone. And as things get more attention and they get more publicity and more people come,
Mm-hmm.
you never know who will come. Just be accepting to all types of people,
Yep.
and you go from there.
Yep. And some people may have this other question in mind: is that are there single females? I've seen single females go there on their own. Yes.
That's cool.
And I've seen single females meet partners while they're there.
That's beautiful because
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Even just like our munches here in Vegas, um, a couple that
Yeah,
didn't know each other last month in October, they came together as a couple in
that
November.
was
And I was like, what?
I congratulated them, and that was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And I think another coupling happened with that really tall guy.
Hmm.
Yeah. And yeah.
And that was super cool. That's super cool to see. It means things that are going right, and that people are comfortable enough to let you know that about them,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes people keep it quiet or whatever. And but then for them to be comfortable enough to come there like that, it's like the greatest gift because it
Mm-hmm.
means your munch is fun. It's comfortable.
Yes. Okay, so the daddy mommy ratio, there are definitely not enough tops, period.
Okay.
Like, very few.
And that's you know what, and you can look on various websites and know that
Mm-hmm.
it's not a big secret.
No.
I tend to think that there are more switches, but depending on
Yes.
any day with how they feel, whether they're feeling submissive or they're feeling toppy, I mean, that can change like the weather. It just depends on somebody how they feel.
Yep.
But the way you get to know people and speak to them, then they'll kind of tell you the role. I mean, if you get comfortable enough with someone, they might want to switch with you if you're
Mm-hmm.
not being overly pushy
Mm-hmm.
or pressuring
Mm-hmm.
or any way, shape, or form making them feel anxious. Because the minute you're pushy,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to turn somebody off and not turn them on. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to close their mind, and all they're going to see is you pushing. You got to be
Such a good
open
point.
and accepting.
Such a good point. So, and also the mommies and daddies may not be quickly available or
Right.
identifiable like that because they're switches.
Hmm.
So you don't know until develop something. How many are actually diapered? At an age play convention, pretty much almost everybody.
There you go. It's a lot of crinkling going around. Keep your ears open.
Yeah, and you'll see it too because a lot of people will just be diapered
Right.
and have like a top. Um, Another question is how much of a premium is put on privacy, more or less than, say, an anime convention? Okay, so if you're comparing that to a mainstream convention, then there are a lot of privacy safeguards in place. So let's talk about some of them. One example is your cell phone that they'll make you put stickers on the front and back of your cell phone cameras underneath the cover. Like you physically have to take off your phone cover and put on
Oh, wow.
the stuff. And you cannot have your phone out in any public space without those stickers on it.
That's a good policy because there's a lot of people in all walks of life that keep this separate from their professional lives. And I can understand that and I can get it because not every single person in the world is going to be understandable of what we're into. They're not going to be as tolerant. So I understand the privacy. I understand why the cameras are not out because you want people being comfortable, not on guard. If they're on guard, then they're not being them themselves, and they're going to be fake. So to make everybody feel uncomfortable, I mean, that's a great rule in place. That is
And I
awesome.
think a lot of the privacy stuff, most people that go to a convention or event have that in their mind. They don't want to get outed. They don't want their friends and family finding out or their workplace. So I find that they'll respect your wishes as well in regards to that.
Right.
But I feel like you have to protect yourself on your own privacy. That a lot of that is up to you. So as in, you don't have to give people your real name. Even when you register, you should essentially make a new email just for kink purposes only.
Right. Just be on guard, but be ready to have fun. Don't be too trusting.
Yes,
Reserve
yes.
some of
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, don't be too trusting. So it's up to you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, no one's entitled to know where you work or even where you live or what city you're from. So that's on you to share or not share that information. You can
Right.
just make something up if you
Right.
want.
Trust is earned,
Mhm.
and you'll know it when it's time to reveal that. You'll be comfortable.
So someone else asked, what do you consider the basics for little's clothing? The basics. I think it's whatever you want, you feel comfortable going in.
I think that however you express yourself is up to you because what you wear might not be right for the next person, and what they wear might not be right for you. Somebody might be cool in a Cookie Monster T-shirt, and that's how they express themselves, and another person might be, maybe they like a
T-shirt.
polo shirt or a
Yeah.
T-shirt or
Yeah.
overalls or whatever. There's no wrong or right answer. It's whatever you're
Yeah.
comfortable in.
Yeah, there really is no basics of
Mhm.
little's clothing. Like some people like vintage. That would be
Right.
really cool.
Yeah.
How should someone approach their first ABDL munch?
With an open mind.
No expectations, I think.
Right.
Is good.
Because if you put things up on a pedestal, you'll find out that you can't reach the pedestal. So you got to go there with an open mind and be able to take in a lot of information because there's a lot. First of all 5 senses are in operation because there's a lot of visual, there's a lot of things to hear, there's a lot of fun, and you pick up on a lot of things. And you're going to learn about others, they're going to learn about you, and if you don't have any expectations, you'll find out that it'll exceed expectations.
Yes.
Because they're really, really fun. And I had never been to a munch before until diaperperv started them, and now I can't imagine not going to them, because they're so fun.
Yeah. And I think if you're nervous, it's good to maybe message the event organizer and just let them know, hey, it's my first munch. Is there anything I can bring or do to help out? Volunteer. And then if the organizer's aware that it's your first time, then they'll go out of the way and make sure you're comfortable and so forth. So that's
And
good.
it's if there's something that you can make, like a recipe, that goes over well because you're sharing something that you've created that people are going to appreciate, and they're going to go, hey, how'd you make that? Or if they really enjoyed it, could you make that again? Or whatever. You're also going to find out that if there are shy people there, you'll see them overcome their shyness and they kind of open up a little bit like a flower and they're more talkative and you're happy to see them and they're happy to see you.
Yeah.
Is it taboo or wrong to ask other attendees if they could change you or you change them? I think that would be how well you know somebody. I don't think you just walk up to somebody and go, hey, do you want to change my diaper? Or can I change you? I think you've got to open up with something else because you wouldn't say that to somebody right off the bat.
No.
You know, it'll...
Like a stranger.
That will come, I think, because you're all there for the same reasons. But talk about other things.
Yes.
You know, I really like your shirt, or I heard something you say earlier, or something like that, and then that develops.
Yeah, I think developing a good rapport and
Right.
showing that, hey, you're a fun person, we're talking, we're engaging.
Right.
And then talk about if they're open to doing that. Not just asking, but just say, hey, are you open? It's hard for me to know what to say to questions like this because I'm not ABDL.
Right.
I never need a diaper change. And the day I did wear at CapCon, all day, well, first of all, these two guys came over and gave me a diaper change, but there was sexual stuff. But
That's another video.
yeah, no, I talked about it in my top 5 pervy moments of 2020.
All right.
But when I did need a change, I was having a good rapport with someone, and I just pointed at him and I was like, you're changing me. That's what I did.
Only diaperperv can do that. You know, order somebody to change your diaper. That's the top roll right there. You notice it? That's not going to work for everybody. You might not want to follow that advice right there. But
oh, okay. So there have been times when I've offered diaper changes, and it's because we were talking and having fun and doing another activity, and then I noticed they're really wet, and so I offered it.
And I think that comes into comfort and not leading with it right off the bat. If you lead with something like that right off the bat, that tells somebody that you're only in it this deep. If you are paying attention to what somebody's saying, maybe they're talking about music and you're talking about your music, you're more than one-dimensional. If all you can talk about is diapers and kink and sex and all that stuff, people are going to see you as a piece of paper. You got to come to life. You got to have more facets, like a diamond, you know, and be able to express yourselves and be an interesting person.
Yeah, like as a top, I don't want some stranger to come up to me and ask that right off the bat, because then I just feel like I'm fulfilling this fetish for them. Like I'm only there for their fantasy fetish fulfillment.
Right.
And at CapCon, I did have a time and place for that, and it was a small price. But that's fair.
Right. I think that's exactly what you said, and that was a good point. That you're not there just to be somebody's, you know, get off point. You know, you're there to have a good time, and you had a time and a place for that, and there is a time and a place for that.
Yeah.
But you just, you know, I think if you know people and you go up and you're talking, or you've made a friend, that's going to come up naturally. You know, keep your eyes and ears open, because there may be something offered like that somebody's speaking about that you could get in on with what you said. And you don't want to miss out on it if that's what you're looking for. But I wouldn't balk at a price. I wouldn't negotiate. I wouldn't do anything of that nature. Not saying that anybody would, but it's not the time to step into somebody's room who's offering a diaper change and they're charging a nominal fee, and you want to barter. Because they're going to look at you like, you know, get out.
Yes. Yeah, no one's ever done that.
Right.
And I hope in the future at other conventions, someone else will offer diaper change happy hour as well.
Yeah, it sounds like really cool.
Yeah. I loved it. It was so fun. It was.
It does sound cool. Because I remember the picture or something where there were like cases and cases with diapers there. And I was like, wow, it's like a fort.
Yeah. And when Red and I were doing it, it was like, we were like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Like, I would fluff the diaper for her, and she would take it out, and then we would both like put it on and tape it on at the same time. Like she would do one side and I would do one
God, that's
side.
worth $100. It's not worth 10. I'm upping the fee. I'm going to be the diaper changing agent.
Right. You get like help with the lineup outside. Because
Yeah.
at one point there was like a huge line.
I'm going to be a doorman at the thing with a velvet rope. Oh, this is a good question. How are cons for non-ABDL persons? Context, my significant other wants to go with me to my first con, and she's not ABDL nor a caregiver. She just wants to see me happy and provide emotional support.
Cool. Okay. I think that she or he would have a great time, honestly, especially at the big conventions, because I'm not ABDL and I don't consider myself a caregiver either. I'm just a diaper boy groupie. And yes, I have other things that I'm doing at the con, like teaching and crap, but my time is still so filled with other things that are going on there.
Right.
Like there are things you could do together, like karaoke, playing games, video games, um, attending things together to learn things.
Right. And the level of support is off the charts. I really loved, she just wants to see me happy and provide emotional support.
Yeah.
I really like that because that shows me that your relationship is there's a lot of communication and there's a lot of support back and forth. I think if anything, you want to be protective of your significant other there because you don't want maybe other people confusing. You know, you want
Yeah.
to support her as much as she's supporting you because that's more your scene. You don't want people to get the wrong idea and assume that she's a caregiver or things like that. So be protective, not hostile or anything like that.
Right.
But I think you're really going to have an amazing time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't think of anything else. I just think that's really incredible and amazing. That level of support, that little commitment, and I wish you your best life. That is incredibly awesome.
Yeah, and there's tons of stuff for both of you to do together or for her to do solo. And also, there's nothing wrong with people thinking that she's a caregiver because it's not like people see me as a caregiver
Right.
and nobody came up to me and said, "Hey, can you do this for me or feed me?" or any of that. No one did any
Gotcha.
of that.
That's
It's
awesome.
super safe.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one, would I be correct in assuming you would likely come away from it from a number of new friends who you would continue contact with in some way? Another question would be, as a result of like-minded people congregating, has there been suggestions made that led to the development of new products or services? So, yes.
Yeah.
Coming away with new friends that you keep in contact with, yes, definitely. And I think the easiest way for people to do that is to share your Fetlife handle and social media.
Right.
So you can follow each other and then DM each other and keep that conversation going.
Right. And the second part of the question about suggestions made to lead to development of new products or services, I would say yes, because I would imagine that some of the diapers that you're seeing out on market today, where they had to come from ABDL saying, well, my dream diaper would have this and not this, and it just makes the products better. And that starts with brainstorming. So I imagine, can I pinpoint it? Can I say it for sure? I can't. But that's kind of what we talk about. Oh, my dream diaper would be this thick. And maybe companies are listening. Maybe they have representatives there. I don't know. But going back onto the friends part, I think that if you're there and you're well-mannered and you're polite, and I keep saying well-mannered and polite because I mean it. If you got a personality and you're open and people see values in you, they're going to respond to those values and they're going to want to stay in contact with you. That's a fun person. I had a positive experience, and you know what? Network. Hey, I've got a great friend, and you include each other, and your friendships get bigger and bigger.
That is such amazing advice, and so true too. All of that.
All right, thank you. That was very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you're going to come away with a shortness of friends at all. I think you're going to be overwhelmed with friendship.
And I feel like keeping in touch and making friends, that's an effort.
Hmm.
It's an effort that you have to put forth and they have to put forth as well.
Right. Friendship's a two-way street. I really want to go to con with my Switch, but having had some bad experience at other events, I'm a little concerned about safety. I find it hard to stay in little space if I don't feel like it's a safe space for my wife slash caregiver. Are there preventions for that?
Okay. Um, I think my advice is to not let the bad experiences at, say, some of the other smaller events that might be kind of clicky or have one person in charge and then something bad happens and it wasn't
Hmm.
handled well. Please, please, please put those experiences aside because this is a whole different animal and it's a much larger space with a lot more people and which will be less clicky and I feel like less bad things happen at the big events
Right.
and I've heard of bad things happening at the smaller events, which is strange, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it depends on the leadership as well. And I go as a single female, right, to all the events. I've gone to them.
Hmm.
And I've never had a bad experience as a single female.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's saying something because generally I think that women might experience those type of problems before a male would. And if
Hmm.
you're saying that you feel safe, that's saying something.
Yeah, yeah. I play with multiple different people at conventions, and I've never had anything go bad or anyone be pushy. But that's also maybe a testament to like how I not judge people, but how I choose people
Right.
to have fun with or whatever.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just because you've had, I'm just using an example, but just because you've had bad food at one restaurant doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean every bad thing is going to happen if you go to another restaurant. Same thing with this.
Yeah, yeah.
Things are going to happen, but people can only prevent so much. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody's going to throw a rock through your window, you can only remain vigilant for so long, and
Mm-hmm.
then they get you.
Mm-hmm.
But these people are improving and they're putting something out, a product that they can't possibly think of every single thing that can go wrong,
Right.
but they're doing their best to prevent it.
Yeah, because they can't control
Right.
individuals or what they do either. So, are there preventions for that? Have this conversation with her now.
Right.
Like, what are some scenarios that you would feel not comfortable with? Maybe have a safe word for you two to get out of a
Excellent. Right.
situation and maybe avoid uh, people that are too drunk or too on drugs. When you identify that, then you can just remove yourself. Like,
Right.
no one is trapping you. You could just be like, hey, it was nice meeting you. We're going to go over there now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Communicate, come up with a plan now, as Perv said. And that's really going to go far because you're already training yourself how to respond.
Mm-hmm.
Visualize how
Mm-hmm.
you're going to respond
Mm-hmm.
and just talk about it. It's almost role play
Yeah.
situations and have code words like,
Yes.
yellow, green, and red goes very far.
Yeah.
Yellow, hey, I'm not feeling too comfortable here. Red, stop. Green, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Goes far.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, and talk about the situations that would make her or you or the both of you uncomfortable
Right.
and what to do about it. And really, I don't really see much happening
No.
because I've never really seen like very bad situations.
Yeah. It's usually pretty isolated, and they usually handle it really quickly.
If
So.
reported,
Right. If it's
yes,
reported, that's the big
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I did have one incident, and it was a one-on-one incident at a small play party type event at a dungeon.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And I felt like he was being pushy and too much, and I stopped it right away. I stopped it, I removed myself from the situation, and I actually told the organizers about it, and they had words with that person.
That brings up a good point. Is
Mm-hmm.
if if you're going to, let's just say you have an incident and you're going to report it, make sure you have all the detailed
Yeah.
information, because you don't want to give a vague report. You don't want to give a description to somebody and just be like, oh, they look like this. Know what you're saying. Have your facts straight. Have your ducks in a row, so something can be done. If you're serious enough to report it, be serious enough in the details as well.
And I think reporting it is a good
Right.
idea, because I debated about telling the
Right.
organizers, and I was talking to my friends about it, and they're like, no, you should tell them right now
Yeah.
so that it can be dealt with, and we can figure it out right now instead of not talking about
Right.
it and then me just verbally saying something about it later to other people,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
which isn't going to resolve the situation.
Right. That's good.
And that was at a much smaller event. It was like a 30 people event. So, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been to
yeah.
big events and felt very, very, very safe.
So next question. Is there any established way of showing you are a DL who is wearing a diaper under your normal clothing?
Yes. Wear a crop top, and then people can see like the top of your diaper poking out over your jeans or shorts.
Right. I don't like the stereotype, but I'm a DL, and I don't wear little clothing. Now, I respect people that do, and I think it's great when they do, because I like to see people who are enjoying themselves. But just look for a little bit more adult matter and dress, and that's probably how you're going to identify DL.
Yep.
I wouldn't go right up and go, hey, are you a diaper lover, or are you a diaper fetish person, or are you little? I think you can kind of tell with the clues. If
Yeah.
they're carrying a bottle, probably not a DL. If they're carrying an enema bag and handcuffs, they're probably a DL. So just,
Right.
Or
if they're just wearing regular clothes and you can kind of
Right.
see the bulkiness of your diaper, then,
Right.
yeah.
And so I don't think you're going to run into any problems of who is into what if you're paying attention to what they're wearing and appreciating what they're wearing. I think you're going to have a good time, and I think you'll be able to figure it out.
You could just wear a t-shirt that says bedwetter on it. What about that?
Right?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And does anyone get sexual?
I'm not sure what they mean by this. Like openly? Like what? Like is he asking, or he or she asking because they want someone to get sexual with them?
Right. It's a pretty vague question. I would imagine things happen behind closed doors. I would imagine that they maybe don't happen out in the open, just like normal society.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're thinking, hey, I'm a DL and I'm just taking a guess, and if I get there, am I going to be in these type of situations? I think if you look for it and you get in with the right group of people, anything can happen if you keep an open mind.
Yes.
But I don't think it's going to be like an open book with a sign going, hey, I think you're going to have to be personable and be open and be friendly, and maybe you pick up on things like that to where the action that you're seeking is.
Right.
But I wouldn't say it's a guarantee.
Is it clicky? Whew. Okay, so I think if you're going for your first time and you're not aware of like who the clicky people might be, then it's not even going to be on your radar, because you'll be so overwhelmed at all the stuff, all the activities, all the friendly people that I feel like it's not
Right.
clicky, because it is what you make of it, and that the generally clicky groups are there doing their own thing anyways,
Right.
and they're not necessarily there to meet new people. So they're just doing their own thing, and there'll be a ton of people in your situation going for the first time or second time or whatever and wondering the same thing.
Right. I think that it's normal to expect clicks, and I would imagine that if people have been to every single con, that maybe they're hanging out together and maybe they're happy to see each other. Like, wow, it's been
A
so
year.
long.
Yeah.
And with the
2 years.
pandemic, it's been even longer. And
Yeah.
they're happy to see each other. That's natural.
Yeah.
But,
So it may seem clicky, but it's not. It's just people that have seen each other through the years
right.
just saying hey and catching up.
And they've probably stayed in touch and they've probably organized it with, hey, are you going this year or whenever the next one may be. Doesn't mean it's clicky. I think most, if anything, those clicks or whatever would be in the hotel room together. They're
Yes.
probably
Yeah.
coordinating like, hey, let's get our rooms together
Yep.
and that kind of thing. So I
You
don't
are
think you're going to
right.
run into any problems at all.
No.
I think you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, because there's just so many activities and classes and participation things going on that the people who attend those aren't the clicky people.
Right.
Like if we're talking about the same clicky people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the clicky people are in their hotel rooms doing their
Right.
thing, being, them just closed in a closed environment. So
Right.
no, they're the minority.
Yeah.
Even though they may seem the majority on Fetlife or whatever, they are truly the minority. There's going to be 1,300 people there or more. 100 people of them might be clicky.
Right.
You still have 1,200 people being there to enjoy the activities and meet people and just be happy.
Making friendships.
Yes.
Lifelong friendships if you play your cards right and you're cool and you have an open mind, because you have to take on board what somebody's saying and they have to take on board what you're saying. You might not agree on every single thing that's said, but if you have an open mind, manners, politeness, and you're monitoring your own behavior as much as everybody else's, you're gonna have a good time.
Oh, there's one question we missed.
Okay.
How is it different from a normal convention? And I can answer that.
Okay.
Because I've been to a lot of mainstream conventions, a lot of business ones, a lot of special interest ones, and I've also performed at a lot of conventions. And I love conventions. I feel very comfortable in that environment. So the main difference is that people's privacy is paramount. So you don't go up to someone and say, "Hey, I'm Joe Bob and I work for this company. I'm from, this town in Ohio and this is what I do." That's what you do at a normal convention. So you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't ask people their names. People aren't going to ask you, what's your real name or anything like that. They may not even really push for a lot of details because you have so much other stuff to talk about.
Right. I think there's a time and a place for all that real name stuff, and it's probably not going to happen within the first 5 minutes. Trust has got to be established. A lot of people want to keep things like this separate from their professional life and not be outed. And sometimes outs happen by an accident because people, might have made, an honest mistake. And the best thing you can do is apologize and just try to, that's why there's not cameras and videos and things like that. It's to protect people.
Yeah. And the similarities is that there will be places for classes. There will be different rooms for different purposes. There will be a vendor area that's pretty large if it's Capcom, smaller if it's West Coast Jungle Gym. There will be diaper vendors. At Capcom, each diaper company had their own room.
Oh,
like
wow.
like a whole full hotel, room.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And they had little contests and giveaways and stuff. So, it was very interactive.
That's awesome.
And another similarity is that there will be a proper schedule with everything that's going on, and there will be a lot of stuff going on.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, cool. I think we got all the cues.
I think we did. That was a long one.
That was long.
You can turn off the camera now.
Like it's natural.
I feel like a sunflower.
What? You don't look like a sunflower. I've always wanted to take a little trick-or-treating and a sunflower thing that goes around their head. I think that would be so funny.
Well, it's the stuff of nightmares. You want me to wear this as a nose too?
Oh my god, your nose.
I had this gag at home that you would love. It looks like this, right? Except it's got. Now this is my hockey cup. So
why did you bring your hockey
I keep it in my bag so I don't forget it. Because after you've been hitting the nuts by a hockey puck, you don't want to get hurt. But anyway, imagine this with straps on it, right?
Okay.
And what I used to do was, to this girl, I would take her wet panties and I would ball them up in here and I'd put them like this and strap it on her face.
Holy shit. That's an amazing thought.
Right, that's why. And so the one I have at home is white and it's blue, whatever, and it goes like this. And it straps on. And I would punish girls like that by putting their wet panties here.
Yeah.
And
wow.
strapping them on. So if you're
That's
like
amazing.
into like urine type smells, which I love.
Yeah. I love that.
That's why I have that gag.
Are we ready?
I won't be able to hear with this on. Probably a good reason why.
You can't see it anyways.
It's not Halloween. It
What?
should be.